Numerous ancient narratives depict a menacing creature resembling a dragon residing in the depths of the ominous sea. Within these accounts, both the dragon and the sea symbolize a spiritual obscurity poised to plunge existence into disorder. The authors of biblical texts employed this imagery, which resonated with ancient societies, hence the prevalence of dragons in various biblical passages. Delving into the theme of the dragon in the Bible allows us to contemplate how God will ultimately triumph over this tumultuous entity. On the first page of the Bible, God brings order to creation by separating the dry land from the chaotic sea, where he contains the sea dragon. In Genesis 1 verse 21, "And God created the great sea monsters," Hebrew, tannins, meaning dragon, serpent, or sea monster, and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swirled, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Biblical writers developed this image of a chaotic monster throughout the Bible, using dragon imagery to describe violent human kings such as Pharaoh, who enslaved and murdered the ancient Hebrews. And Goliath is depicted as a scaly, serpentine giant. In Isaiah 51 verses 9 to 11 it says, "Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Lord. Awake as in the days of old, the generations of long ago. Was it not you who cut Rahab in pieces, who pierced the dragon? Was it not you who dried up the sea, the waters of the great deep, who made the depths of the sea a pathway for?" And so on. In Ezekiel 29 1-4, "Set your face against Pharaoh king of Egypt, and prophesy against him, and against all Egypt. Speak and say, Thus says the Lord God. Behold, I am against you, Pharaoh king of Egypt, the great monster that lies in the midst of his rivers, that has said, My Nile is mine, and I myself have made it. I will put hooks in your jaws, and make the fish of your rivers cling to your scales." Dragon empires and the Son of Man. In the story, we see not only individual rulers, but entire kingdoms become dragons. The prophet Daniel dreams of 4 monstrous beasts rising from the sea. They represent violent kingdoms in alliance with dark spiritual forces. Then a new figure appears in Daniel's vision, rising from the earth to sit on the throne of God and destroy the monsters. So who is this dragon slayer? Daniel calls him like a son of man. Daniel said, "I was looking in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea. And 4 great beasts were coming up from the sea, different from one another. The first was like a lion but had the wings of an eagle. I kept looking until its wings." Daniel 7 verses 13-14. "I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven one like a son of man was coming, and he came up to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him. And to him was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all the peoples, nations, and men of every language might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which will not pass away, and his kingdom is one which will not be destroyed." Jesus confronts the dragon. When Jesus begins his public ministry, he repeats the book of Daniel, calling himself the Son of Man. "But so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins," then he said to the paralyzed man, "Get up, pick up your stretcher, and go home. Now I say to you, everyone who confesses me before people, the Son of Man will also confess him before the angels of God." And the Gospel authors show Jesus confronting the dragon when he walks over the stormy sea, overcomes the tempter in the wilderness, and confronts death and sickness in others. Even when the power of the dragon is at its greatest, Jesus doesn't back down. Jesus also resists the dragon in surprising ways. He surrenders his life and willingly enters the belly of the beast, and the dragon slayer is slain by the dragon. Matthew 12 verses 38-41. Then some of the scribes and Pharisees said to him, "Teacher, we want to see a sign from you." But he answered and said to them, "An evil and adulterous generation craves for a sign, and yet no sign will be given to it but the sign of Jonah the prophet. For just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the sea monster, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh will stand up with this generation at the judgment, and will condemn it because they repented at the preaching of Jonah. And behold, something greater than Jonah is here." How to overcome the dragon. The victory of the dragon is not the end of the story. Jesus trusts in the power of God to create a new life on the other side of death, and after death he is resurrected to a changed life. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus who has been crucified. He is not here, for he has risen, just as he said. Come, see the place where he was lying." Matthew 28 verses 5-6. As his followers, we are asked to face the dragon with the same strong faith and temptation to become dragons. God is fighting the dragon here and now, and will one day defeat the dragon once and for all. In the meantime, we need not fear the dragon. We overcome it, like Jesus, through courageous and generous actions. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist an evil person, but whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. If anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, let him have your coat also. Whoever forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Revelation 20 verses 1-2. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding the key of the abyss and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold of the dragon, the serpent of old, who is the devil and Satan. In the Bible, dragons represent rebellious spiritual beings and violent people and their associated kingdoms. In the end, Jesus defeats the dragon with courageous and generous love and calls his followers to do the same. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family.